So, welcome to Foreign Speaks. In this video, we are going to see about on how to create and configure uh, an ECS instance in Alibaba Cloud. So the last video in this playlist, I have given like a theoretical explanation about ECS instances, and I have given like lot of pointers on the configurations of ECS instances. So today we will see about the demonstration on how to create the ECS instances. So firstly we will go to alibabacloud.com and you can see a lot of their offers and all those things, and now we have to just click on this login. Then you have to fill in the account and then enter the password. So once we enter into the system, it will show something like this. So we see into this console, and then here we see the account management. Once you click on this account management, you will see like the login account and then the account ID and all those details. So you have to just note down this number will be unique for everyone. So when you happen to see a lot of Alibaba Cloud's events, and if you want some materials to be transferred to your account, they will be asking your Alibaba Cloud account. So in that case, you have to come to this place and select this one and copy this and paste it over the places wherever you need. So this is actually the Alibaba Cloud account. It will be unique for each and every one. This is how you have to take it, and then I will just repeat it again. Like you have to go to this particular robot avatar kind of account management, and it will show like this. So this is how you have to check your account number, and then if you go to billing, it will show like what are the usages so far in your account, like how much amount of money has been deducted from your account. So it shows like the debit card and all those details of yours. I normally have one debit card which has like very little amount of balance, so I don't want to risk anything in the experimentations. Like mostly I use this for teaching purposes. So uh, it's like for me it's I don't need really much number of account balance in that debit card, hardly like $3 or $4, something like that. And you can just go to this console. This is where we have to get started. When you go into the console, it will load into a system like this. So here it shows about all the products, like the recently used products. So these are the recently used products for myself. Like if I go and view some product, then it will list out like a recently used product. This is like the browser history of Alibaba Cloud Console. And then it also shows like some services you can use, like it's like it will show like you can use it, you can go and check onto it, and you will be charged only if you are using that particular service. So those services will be listed down over here. And then in the top it says like how many ECS instances. Like right now I don't have any ECS instance, I don't have any RDS instance as well. So I actually don't store much ECS instances, and then I normally just show as demonstration. So to start the ECS instance, you can either click on this ECS instance over here at the middle over here in the recently used product, or you can click on this ECS Elastic Compute Service in the services listed by Alibaba Cloud, or you can search for the product. So how to search it? So here we have the search console. I just mouse over it, it will show this kind of aspect, and then I just click on it. Here it shows like the recently used product. I got into this because of my history. So I search like elastic compute I don't need to really search with the full name. I just see this elastic compute service. So this is also a way on how to uh, go to the creation of ECS console. So here we see like creation of ECS instance, and there you have the documentation and its pricing. So if you click on the pricing, it shows like what kind of features are available, and then if you click on the pricing, we have like the savings plans and the pay as you go and subscription, and it even shows like if you choose some particular ECS instance, how you will be billed. Like for example, my local server is Malaysia, then it shows like what about the price. So it shows like if I go for pay as you go, how much it will cost. If I change to Windows, what will be the price. If I go for then classic network, what will be the price. There is no classic network, so only VPC is available over here for Windows, and for Linux also you don't have classic. All are provided for the VPC based systems. So if you go for reserved instance, what is the price, that list is given. So you can have an idea like how much it costs you like for each and every type of ECS instance. Now we will see on how to create the ECS instance. We have to click on this ECS instance, like create ECS instance. Just click on this one, and then we get to see like the configuration systems. Normally if I create in the region which is in the mainland China, like for example this China, all these Chinese data centers. If you are outside of China, if you are not a resident of China, it has some restriction. It will ask like you have to give your Alipay ID, and then there is another type of KYC. Already for creating this Alibaba Cloud account, you have one kind of KYC done already with your debit cards or your credit cards or whatever it is. But if you go for these Chinese data centers, it will ask for another one KYC. I think it is like a kind of a glitch. I don't want to follow that, because so I won't go for the Chinese data centers because of this kind of complicated thing. But for me, currently I am residing in Thailand, so I am choosing this data center of Malaysia. So since I choose Malaysia, it doesn't ask anything. And if I go for subscription, if I choose like for 1 month, it cost me like 61.98, almost $62. That is for $2 per day. You can run it for a month 24/7 for one instance. It costs like $2 per day if you go for a subscription. But in case if you go for pay as you go, that is you want to run those ECS instances only for some number of time, you just need to click this pay as you go, and it shows like the cost is like $0.131 per hour. In case if you are running for 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, something like that, it is better to go with this pay as you go. In this pay as you go, you need to pay only for the usage you have done. And then in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, we have the zone A and zone B. So here we can see how much it costs for zone B, 0.120, zone A, it is 0.114. Sorry. So then we have like a preemptible instance. This is the third type of payment. So here it has a spot price like $0.026 per hour, and normally I used to give demonstration with the pay as you go. You can choose whether you want subscription or pay as you go or preemptible, but you have to be aware of how much it is going to charge. It will be mentioned over here. You have to keep looking in this one. I have explained in the previous lecture about what exactly is the preemptible instance, what is pay as you go. So I am just clicking on this pay as you go, and I have chosen the region as Kuala Lumpur. In Kuala Lumpur I am choosing zone A. And then in the type of ECS instance we choose, there are two types. You can go for type based selection or scenario based selection. So in scenario based, like it will ask like what kind of system you want to develop, whether it is AI, machine learning, or big data cluster, or whichever you want, you can choose. Based on that, it will give a recommended configuration. But I go for a type based selection because I will customize it. And here we can see like what kind of architecture it is, whether it is an x86 architecture or like an IoT based ARM processor or a heterogeneous computing or ECS bare metal instance. So in the architecture you can keep selecting whether you want ECS bare metal instance. I just go with this x86 architecture. If you go for ECS bare metal instance, it will ask very limited whether it is CPU type or GPU type. But I better go for x86. If you go for this heterogeneous, you have like compute optimized with GPU, visualization compute optimization with GPU, and so many others. And then we have like ARM processor, you have general compute and memory optimized. It's better I go with this x86 now. In x86 aspect, we have like general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, big data, local SSD, high clock speed, and all these. In the general type, we have like this 4 virtual CPUs with 6 gigabyte. If you choose like this, the cost goes to 0.224 because each of those types will have a different price. If I go for the very basic one, I just click on this one with the 2 virtual CPUs and 8 gigabytes of memory. So we can see the cost is like 0.114 US dollar per hour. When we double the configuration, we take like 4 virtual CPUs and 16 gigabyte of RAM, it goes like 0.224 US dollars per hour. I just better go with this one. And then you can change like how many ECS instances you can make. And here it says the instance type ECS.G6, that is this is 6th generation ECS instance, and the configuration is large with the 2 virtual CPU, 8 gigabyte. And then you can create a maximum of 128 ECS instance at one time. For example, if I choose like 128, and then it says like for 1 hour for using 128 ECS instance, it costs 14.618 US dollar per hour. But I don't need 128, but you can create that many ECS instance at one time. At one instance you can create up to 128 ECS instance. It will create as quickly as that. So the virtualization of your compute infrastructure will be scaled up to like a huge extent. And in the operating system, so this is actually, this ECS is a infrastructure as a service. So it should have the virtualization to be done at the level of operating system. So we have the network which is done with the VPC. On top of that we have the storage space virtualization. On top of that we have the memory virtualization, and then we have the operating system virtualization. So up to that we have the infrastructure as a service. So ECS instance creates the virtualization up to this level. So here we have the public image, and then you can have your own custom image or like your own operating system, or like shared image, you get it from somewhere, or like the marketplace image. In shared image, right now I don't have anything, so you can configure it later as well. So in the public image you can see like there are a lot of operating systems: Alibaba Cloud, Anolis OS, CentOS, even Windows Server, Red Hat, SUSE, Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora. So many of these operating systems are available, but I go for this Alibaba Cloud Linux. And here you can select which version you want. Like this is by default, it will take this 2.1903 LTS 64 bit, but I go for the advanced one which is 3.2104 64 bit. There is no alteration in the price as well. And you can choose like whether you want ultra disk or SSD. If you choose SSD, the cost will little bit increase to 0.122, and then you can have the disk capacity. Like here by default it is 40 gigabyte for that this capacity of hard disk. I better go with ultra disk, and then you can even select a NAS file system, but right now we don't need it. When you go for this video lecture of NAS, you will understand about creation of those NAS file systems. And then you click on this next one. So in next we see the VPC. By default we have VPC, but in case if you create your own VPC, you can use that one as well. By default we will be allocated with one VPC instance, so you can it will be selected by default. And then we can assign a public IP as well. So here we can see that there are two types of pricing. That is total of 0.114. This is for the price of ECS instance, and here we see something called as internet traffic fees. Like we have chosen the ECS instance. Now we are connecting to the network resources are also taken. So when we use the internet, that also involves the usage of bandwidth with Alibaba Cloud. This applies to any cloud service provider as well. It's not only just for Alibaba Cloud. If you are using their internet bandwidth, then you will be charged for that as well. But in case of Alibaba Cloud, we have the internet traffic fees of like 0.077 US dollar per gigabyte, and we can even pay by traffic or pay by bandwidth, whichever we want. And then we can select a security group. We can create a security group and do it, but here I am not choosing anything. And then you can have your elastic network interface, or you can add your own ENI which you have created, and even you can create your IPv6 configuration. You can feed into here by your on your own. You can do it, and then you click on this next. So here we just see like what kind of logon credential is needed. If you go for key pair, it's just by adding the key of it, and then you can create a key pair and add into it for using the ECS instance. Instance name is named as Launch Advisor 2021-12-17. So we can even customize the instance name, like adding some values or anything like that, or like I just give like and then KL instance. That is, I have given my name and the place of the region where the ECS instance data center is located. But it is needed when we have like multiple instances added at the same time. Then you can have a description, and then we give like a host name, or if you create another operating system with Linux. Then now we see like we are going to the next level. Just we are going to the grouping. In grouping we do like we are selecting like what kind of organizational group it belongs to, and then we choose anything regarding the resource group, deployment set, or dedicated host, or private pool. This is what we do to choose normally, but by default we can just make it optional. So both this system configurations and the grouping, they are all optional. Now we are not much into this these optional features. Next we go to the preview. It will show like what kind of billing you are given with. So we have to go with the pay as you go. We are purchasing 1 unit. The region is Kuala Lumpur Zone A, and then image is Alibaba Cloud Linux operating system with security hardening, the VPC instance, and then we are having like a pay by traffic, that is 5 megabyte per second. So the cost for the networking, if you see, so here it says like the network internet traffic fees is like 0.077 US dollar per GB. That is for the total data transferred, like whether it is upload or download. for every gigabyte, that the fee for the internet traffic is 0.077 US dollar. That is the cost incurred for the ECS instance internet traffic. Now this is what we have given as the desired ECS instance. Now we have to click on this ECS terms of service to accept the product terms of service. So if you want to see the terms of service, this is the terms which is opening. So here we have like some contract services and all those about the server load balancer and all those terms and services for using these cloud products are all given. You can just read it patiently on with your time. Now we just are satisfied with the type of ECS instance you want to create. Then we have to click on this create instance. So once we click on this create instance, it shows like it is created and it will give like an instance ID like this way, and then it gives some kind of savings plan, but we can better go to the console. So when we go into the console, earlier there were no ECS instance, but now it will show like one ECS instance which is running. So it will show the status of running, and now we have not given any tag, and here we can edit the ECS type as well. And then we have like this manage, and then in the connect we have the workbench and the VNC, that is the virtual network cloud. And then in the more we have like, if you want to buy more of the same type, you can click in this one. And in the instance status, you can stop the ECS instance. You can either stop it or like you can give a force stop. You give open, okay, and now the status you can see like it shows like it is stopping. So eventually within some time it is going to stop the ECS instance which we have created. Once we have stopped, it will not use the ECS instance and the billing will be halted for a moment. So it will take some time for stopping the ECS instance. And now we can see that the specifications which we have chosen already, that is 2 virtual CPU and 8 GB and input output optimized. And now we have like this is stopped, but if you want to start it again, go to this more, and then in the instance status click on start, and then you have selected one ECS instance. I click on OK. So this is the ECS instance which is starting now, and like stopping, it will also take some time to go into the running phase. So this is the life cycle which I have mentioned already in the lecture as well. So then we have the ECS instance settings. We can do all those settings which we need, and then we have the keyword key pair or password pair, and now it is running again. And in the more we have like configuration change, disk and image, network and security, and operations and troubleshooting. So if you want to just click and see like what's there in this ECS instance, it shows like the properties, it shows like the configuration and what it is. If you want to convert it into a static IP, like you can get like an elastic IP and configure over here. If you have your own host name, and you can make it like your own web server, something like that. And then you can here you can click on to switch to the subscription, or like you can make it like a reserved instance. You can do all the configuration once you click on the link of ECS instance. So here it shows the health status. When you see my lecture on auto scaling and server load balancing, there will be some places where the ECS instance health status is checked. So this is what we call as the health status. So then this is the details about the instance, and then in the monitoring, it shows some properties of the monitoring parameters, but right now we don't have like some active usage, so it doesn't show anything. and then it shows the security group. So what kind of security you would like to have, all those things we can do in this one. So now we go to this one. So see here, it is specification ECS G6 large. That is, it is an ECS instance with the 6th generation mission with a large instance. So now this system has been running for some number of time. Now I want to create another ECS instance. Then you have to click on this create instance. And then you have to do the same configuration management for like what you have done for the earlier time. You can do it like this, whether you want the pay as you go, and then I choose like in zone B. Just to keep on configuring everything and go for the next, like Alibaba Cloud Linux. I just choose this one. Next, it goes to the network. I'm just making as default. And then in the system configuration, next, grouping, next, and then it goes to the preview. If I click on this create instance, it will create another ECS instance. We are creating this in the zone B. Then I click on this create ECS instance. Okay, so it is asking me to again click on this ECS terms and service. I click on this and then create ECS instance. Now I just go to the console again, it is created. So let's see the status now. This is the old window. Now we go to the new window. We see that the ECS instance which is starting now in Kuala Lumpur zone B. So normally it is a cloud service, and it has to create the ECS instance. So you can create as many ECS instance you want in the desired ECS instance zones. And now if you want to delete this ECS instance, we have with the Kuala Lumpur zone B. Just to click on this close and then search on this. It shows the ECS instance. We are having like 2 ECS instance which we have created. So if you see in the console, it shows like these 2 ECS instances. The first ECS instance is with the Kuala Lumpur. The second one which we have created now, this is also in Kuala Lumpur as well. So this ECS instance is with the zone A. So if you just click on this ECS instance, and then you can see the configuration, and this is the zone B. In case if you want to delete the created ECS instance, because now it has been in usage, so it will keep taking money from my debit card. So I don't want to have it now as after I finish this demonstration. So we need to delete it, right? So for that, firstly we have to stop the ECS instance. You can either go with the stop or force stop. In force stop, you can go for economical mode and click OK. It will stop, and then we go to this first ECS instance which we have created. You have to go for this force stop and then OK. So now it has stopped the ECS instance. Now I just click on this one. So we just click on the ECS instance properties. So this is the zone A ECS instance. Now we have stopped the ECS instance. Now if you want to delete, there is no delete button, but we have something called as release. You just click on this release. The release will be over here below in this instance details. We have this place auto release time or release. So here we have to mention like release now or scheduled release, what time we need to release, whether we want to fix a particular time when it needs to be released. So I mentioned like release it now immediately. Then we can click on this next and then OK. So the ECS instance is removed. Now we have remaining only one ECS instance which we have. We can do it by clicking on here and going to the other place. Otherwise we can do is click on this more, and in the instance status, instead of start you have this release over here. So you can click on this release over here as well, and then you can delete the ECS instance, or you can select it over here and then you can click on this start for starting the ECS instance, or you can reset the password for this, or then you can click this release. This release is also used for removing the ECS instance. I click on this and then I click on release now and then click next. I give OK. So it will now totally say that I don't have any ECS instance. Now I just go to the Elastic Compute Service main console. So now I have deleted both the ECS instance I have created. So it shows like the old ones, the recently created is 2. So totally it says like 2 is running. Within after the final deletion of all the ECS instance, it says like there are no ECS instance into your account. So in case if I want to create, then I can click on it. And if I go to this expenses, it shows the orders. So what orders I have made. So today it shows like I have created this ECS instance with the pay as you go mode. So that's a purchase I have made. So this is how it shows the cost incurred for it. And also I mentioned like where to go for the account management. There also we can do to see how much money is taken from our account. So this is all about on how to create and manage an ECS instance and finally to remove it. That's all for this demonstration. See you all in the next video. Thank you.